Hey guys, what's up? Roshi is here. Quick deck tag today. Made some updates to my Merry Mandrake list and went ahead and ran this in the second TNE. Overall, I'm happy with the way it performed. Against the decks I expected to do well against, I did well against them, and there were a lot of decks that just came out of left field that my deck was not prepared for. And we were able to get some wins against some of them, but ended up just barely missing the cut for the top 8. But I would probably still submit the same deck with the same information I had. I still think this deck is quite strong, and yeah, so for the few changes I made, we've got 2 less air in the main deck. There just wasn't as much Feln as I was really expecting in that first TNE. So I went ahead and trimmed back a bit on air. He's still something I want access to because he's critical for those matchups. But I wanted a little more flexibility against cards like Rost or Wump. So we added a few Vars choices in the main deck instead. And this gives us an actual way to interact with Rost, a cheap way to deal with Wump outside of Aramont's designs, and also some hand hate, which can be quite helpful in the right matchup, in case like any overloaders show up. Now, for the market, I moved Timepiece just as a one-of into the main deck. I really don't want to draw more than one, kind of the same philosophy we have with Mask of Torment. Drawing more than one would be clunky, so if we only run one, we can never draw more than one, and it can never clunk up our hand. And when we do have it or do want it, it can be helpful, but that's not every game. It's more of a late game card, so it might as well be in the main deck. And yeah, so that's what I was thinking with that. And then let us have room for impound. This helps us against any sort of primal based relic deck, so think Skycrag like Sling, or well, any Sling really. A lot of them are using Transpose and Aegis spam. And then there's also decks that play, like, I think the name's Tomb of Horrors or whatever, the film, like, mill deck. So that's another deck where they'll often have Aegis. Also, on the off chance someone decided to bring World Pyre, Impound just completely shuts that down. So, yeah, this was the list. I was happy with it, happy with how it performed. One thing I did notice is the deck is super weak to that 4-power spell that discards each unit with cost 6 or more from your market and 6 or more from your hand. One of my losses was actually just because they kept casting it on turn 5, the turn before I'd be able to play any of my 6 drops, and it would just rip all my Ikarias and Ayers and stuff out of my hand, and all of my market just gets decimated there. Even if you early on pull a market card into your hand, it'll still get discarded. So one of the things that might be happening is potentially cutting some of our market to, or just swapping around some things. Maybe main deck Nash and run something else, or main deck like Kroll or Azindel, and that way we can maybe put another removal spell or something in the market, or even something for mill if we really wanted, and we're not just completely screwed in those matchups. So that's what I've been thinking about, potential changes I might make in the future. One thing I noticed I wouldn't mind having more of is maybe some main deck exploits. It seems like there wasn't as much aggro as I expected, and I'm not sure what I'll cut for it, but I wouldn't mind having access to more exploit, deal with some pesky combo decks that have been popping up, and I'm not sure what I'll cut for that, but that'll be for another deck tag. Thanks for watching, guys, and enjoy the games. They were pretty interesting, and some of the lists that were brought were pretty cool to check out. Definitely some unique stuff going on, and yeah, have a good one.